Hey, what's up you guys? It's Matt here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be continuing our series where we highlight brands that kind of pair well with Visvim. Whether it be if you can't afford Visvim and kind of looking for a cheaper alternative that kind of achieves the same image and aesthetic as Visvim, or if you want to look for other brands that kind of pair with your Visvim collection already, these brands will be perfect for you. The four brands that we'll be going over today are Mr. Freedom, YMC, 18 East, and Samuel Zelig. And what we'll do is we'll just go through the brand's history, and then I'll show off the pieces I have here in person, show off the details, and kind of explain why these pieces work well with a Visvim collection or achieve that Visvim aesthetic. And then I'll show the pieces on with a Visvim outfit just to show you how well it looks all together. So let's get into it.
Mr. Freedom is a retail vintage showroom space created by Christophe Lerone in 2003 in Hollywood, California. In 2006, they began a long-standing collaboration with the famous Japanese manufacturers Sugarcane Incorporation. This was where Mr. Freedom was born. Delivering 2 collections a year, this long-standing friendship and shared vision allowed for the growth of the brand. Mr. Freedom isn't about vintage reproduction or fashion trends. Instead, they create historically plausible clothes that certainly didn't exist but could have. The clothing produced tells a story with the love of vintage and deep understanding of antique garments shining through with each piece.
Okay, so for the first item, we're going to be looking at a pair of denim from Mr. Freedom. This is the Californian Lot 674 denim. The 674 cut is a lot like Visvim's 01 Slim. So it's kind of like a regular cut with a slightly tapered leg, mid-rise, and button fly. The retail of these is around $330. It's made with a 12-ounce PK cotton fabric that was made on selvage looms in Japan. And you can see it's got really nice visual and physical texture. And it kind of reminds me of Japanese sashiko or like Capital's Century denim. And it was made on selvage looms, so it's got the selvage piping right there. As I said before, it does have a button fly. They make all their buttons and rivets custom in-house, and they do brand them as well. So this is a brass tack waist button with Mr. Freedom branding, and then all these are oxidized silver, so they kind of come pre-distressed and and you can see they have color variations throughout. It also features really nice pocket bags. This is kind of like a really rough and durable striped cotton canvas. I can't imagine tearing this in a million years. As I said before, they have their original copper rivets that they make in-house. And then they do a really good job of doing subtle details and kind of like branding, where to the naked eye you don't know it's Mr. Freedom, but people who know kind of like know. So on the inside you have this Mr. Freedom brand tag. Then on the back you have like this cotton linen blend paper tag with Mr. Freedom branding, and then you have the waist, and these are made in the US in California. It also has a really nice debossed Mr. Freedom branded vegetable tan back patch, and this should really age nicely with lots of wear and washing. And then has this really nice M stitching for Mr. Freedom on the back pocket. So yeah, really cool details. A lot like Visvim, they really like attention to detail and little hits that you know is quintessentially that brand. Because this is a pair of denim, and Visvim really builds their brand around American workwear and denim, it works well with any of my Visvim clothing, and I'll actually put on an outfit after this showing it off. But yeah, really cool brand, and I suggest you guys check them out. Okay, on to the next brand.
Here you can see I paired the pants with these military-inspired suede 7-hole 73 folk boots, an ICT indigo overdye jumbo tee, and the classic Social Sculpture 101 damaged denim jacket, which was inspired by Levi's Type 2 silhouette. YMC was founded in London in 1995 by Fraser Moss and Jimmy Collins. Since then, the label has established itself as one of the most enduring and influential independent brands to come out of the UK. Taking its name from a quote by the famous industrial designer Raymond Loewy, "You must create your own design style." YMC is a call to arms, one that influences the very essence of the brand's identity. Initially inspired by workwear and military clothing, the duo developed a unisex brand around the notion of creating understated and timeless garments. Today, YMC continues to subvert expectations while simultaneously capturing the cultural zeitgeist. Directional yet wearable, each collection is influenced by creative directors Moss's passion for music, literature, and the arts, and his enduring post-punk DIY attitude.
So the next item we'll be looking at is from a brand called YMC, and it is a jacket they make called their Mark 1 jacket, and this is actually in goatskin suede. Retail of this was $1,100. As you can see, it's inspired by the Levi's vintage Type 1 silhouette. So it's got the typical front chest pocket. You have these double pleat front panels, and then this box stitch at the top here. And this jacket is sort of wide and cropped, and I will show it on with an outfit after this. So it does feature twin needle top stitching throughout, and that kind of just ensures the longevity and make sure the construction of the jacket doesn't fail with just a couple wears, so you know that it will last. It does have these straight welt side pockets. On either side. And then it does actually feature an adjustable waist. So it does have these custom branded Cobrax buttons, and as you can see, they are YMC branded. And Cobrax is kind of known as like the leading manufacturer in buttons, and they have crazy construction and quality. Cobrax branded at the back. And it does feature kind of like the reverse of the suede, kind of like a black leather lining. And then on the inside you can see we have YMC branding, size medium, and made in England. So Visvim does make a Type 1 Levi's silhouette, and it's called their 102 jacket, but they've only made that in denim. So I saw this and I saw that it was in goat suede, and I got really intrigued, and I absolutely love it. It goes well with pretty much any of my Visvim clothing, and yeah, it's a great brand, great construction, great quality, and I suggest you guys check it out. So yeah, on to the next one.
Here I paired the suede jacket with some Skagway low sneakers in leopard pattern leather, some indigo and mud dyed corduroy trousers, and a white Ultimate Crew t-shirt. Founded by designers Dylan Lubell and Jonathan Levite, Samuel Zelig clothing is a contemporary approach to uniform standards and closet essentials. Taking inspiration from American workwear traditions and incorporating French and Japanese elements in fabrication, the brand tweaks classic designs to fit and move better without losing the intention and style of what makes them classics. Following a narrative of versatility, simplicity, and functionality, each piece is timeless to its core. The brand pays special attention to finishing garments with experimental dyeing and washing techniques that both elevates the clothing and creates comfortable favorites from day one. From the sewing and taping to the beautiful fabrication and quality hardware, each piece is made with thoughtful attention to every detail.
So the next brand we'll be looking at is kind of like an upcoming brand out of Los Angeles called Samuel Zelig. The first piece that we'll be going over is their Western tee. This tee retailed at $115. It's made out of their custom in-house 10-ounce jersey cotton. Kind of like the details of the shirt. It's got a cross-cut neck tape at the shoulder. It features 4-thread overlock seam construction that kind of ensures the garment stays together after multiple wears and washing. It also features this blind stitch at the arm opening. It's kind of reminiscent of single stitch vintage t-shirts, and that stitching is also featured at the hem of the t-shirt as well, as you can see. Kind of like the glaring focus of the t-shirt is this original embroidery on the front, and it's got incredible texture and unevenness throughout. And I really like how the stitching isn't perfect, and it kind of gives me that hand-done feel. Really, really nice. And then it has this Samuel Zelig branding at the back as well, with a Samuel Zelig patch at the collar, and then their logo embroidered at the back as well. And this t-shirt was put through an enzyme wash, and it removed the shrinkage and actually gave it like a vintage texture on the shirt as well. So yeah, really versatile shirt. You can wear it alone or actually under a jacket or a button-up shirt. It looks really nice with layering. Because of the color, it's kind of like a ivory ecru color. It works well with Visvim's color palette because Visvim likes to use a lot of earthy tones, kind of like the browns and the greens. So this shirt works well with a lot in my collection. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's move on to the next piece we have from them.
Here I paired the shirt with white leather Foley Folk sneakers, some washed green pastoral braces pants, and a 1-to-1 jumbo jacket in brown corduroy.
Okay, so the next piece is their Type 2 jacket. So retail on this was $545. It's got sort of like a boxy cropped silhouette. As you can see, it's pretty wide. So it's mainly made out of a 12-ounce cotton herringbone fabric from Japan, and then has this 12-ounce cotton sashiko hits from Japan as well. So this really reminds me of the denim we showed from Mr. Freedom before. It also has that sashiko on the two front pockets, as well as the hem and the cuffs as well. So much like the name, this is inspired after the vintage Type 2 Levi's denim jacket. So it has the typical 2 chest pockets, these double pleats at the front, and then the box stitch as well. So very reminiscent of Visvim's 101 jacket that takes inspirations from the same Levi's silhouette. These do feature Cobrax buttons and rivets, much like the YMC jacket. These aren't branded, however. It just has the Cobrax branding on the backside. This jacket also features an adjustable waist, so you can adjust the silhouette however you like. This is also made with a double needle seam construction to again make sure it doesn't fall apart after a couple wears and make sure it lasts a lifetime, essentially. The cotton herringbone was indigo dyed, and then it was put through an enzyme wash to kind of achieve like a vintage characteristic and replicate kind of like a vintage sun fade. So you can see how it has color variations throughout, even on the back side. So really nice attention to detail. And then they have the Samuel Zelig logo paper tag at the collar as well. So this is size XL, and you have Samuel Zelig and then made in USA. So really nice jacket. And because of the indigo dye, again, you guys know Visvim loves to work with indigo dye, so works with a lot of my collection, and kind of again with the same color palette, same inspirations from the vintage Levi's. Just works extremely well with my clothing collection. So let's look at the last piece from Samuel Zelig.
Here I paired the jacket with some sand suede Brigadier boots, social sculpture non-wash denim, and a white ultimate jumbo tee.
So for the last piece from Samuel Zelig, we have their oil wash canvas jacket. Retail on this was $935. As you can see, it is much like all of their clothing, it's got a slightly boxy and cropped silhouette. So this does take inspirations from the classic Carhartt Detroit jacket, which you often seen in a cotton canvas. This cotton canvas is a 10-ounce fabric made in Japan. It has a very thick Italian suede collar in this dark brown colorway. It's got a polyester filling with a quilted silk lining featuring original artworks from the founders, one of the founders' grandfathers, who was an artist himself. So really reminiscent of Visvim's linings. I have one right here. So this lining that you usually see on their more popular down jackets. So it's really reminiscent of that kind of style of artwork. And yeah, just like the last jacket, has that Samuel Zelig branding on the back collar as well. So the front actually features a very nice two-way Ruby zipper. So you can see it's on the bottom as well. So you can really adjust kind of like how it fits on your body. And then it also has a Ruby zipper on the chest pocket as well. And then much like the Carhartt Detroit, it's got these two angled side welt pockets as well. Additionally, it has Cobrax rivets and snaps. As you can see, Cobrax branded at the back. And it's really nice with this sleeve because you can unsnap it and kind of show the filling, the silk lining kind of like peek through. So that's a really cool detail. It also has this really cool darting on the back shoulder, which kind of moves with you and doesn't make you feel constricted at the shoulder like a lot of jackets do. It does have an adjustable waist like the previous jacket, using Cobrax snaps as well. The jacket also has a triple needle construction that, again, sound like a broken record, but ensures the quality and construction of the garment and makes sure it lasts a lifetime. To give it kind of like a vintage washed effect, this was put through an enzyme and stone wash and then finished with oil to kind of give it like a really nice texture and vintage characteristic throughout. And like the I didn't say it, but these were only 100 made worldwide, along with this jacket as well, only 100 made. And yeah, so that's it for this brand. As you can see, they really take vintage inspirations, and quality and construction is at the forefront. I really suggest you guys check this brand out. It's awesome. So yeah, moving on to the last brand.
Here I paired the jacket with Chipor high-top sneakers in hickory denim, some distressed black corduroy trousers, and a white subsequence jumbo tee. '18 East was launched in New York in 2018 by founder and lead designer Antonio Ciangoli. Their goal is to create exciting and inspiring pieces that help perpetuate time-honored production methods that lessen the environmental strain placed on our planet by fashion's wasteful supply chain. They search the world for traditional and innovative ways of making things and take pride in the collaborative work they do with partners that prioritize integrity and creativity over profitability. They strive to incorporate non-mechanized hand techniques into each of their garments and to highlight the hands of the people behind them.
So the last brand we'll be looking at is a brand out of New York called 18 East, and the first item we'll be going over is their Sam shirt jacket. Retail on this jacket was $185. It's got a wide and cropped fit, and the fabric is actually made with this jacquard cotton using a natural hand loom. So pretty much all hand done throughout. And the fabric has insane texture The Sam shirt typically has 2 chest pockets and then a open collar design. It's got these really nice custom button front placket that are also featured on the cuffs as well. And then has this really cool branding hit at the collar, and you can see it's made in India as well. So they try to keep the silhouette super simple and then let the fabric speak for itself. It's a crazy fabric. I can't get over it. I mean, you could look at this thing for hours because it's got so much detail. And much like Visvim clothing, they love attention to detail, so it works well with pretty much anything I put it with. And yeah, that is the first item.
Here I paired the jacket with some brown leather Virgil boots, some military inspired green drill mill trousers, and a white Ultimate Crew t-shirt.
Okay, and for the final item we'll be looking over today. This is a mouthful, so I have to look at it because I can't memorize it. This is the Sahasika Patchwork Cantha Indigo Chambray jacket. Retail on this was $265. It uses an indigo chambray cotton and then features this really awesome irregular patchwork cantha stitching that is entirely done by hand. So every stitch that you see was hand stitched, and they did kind of like an irregular pattern throughout, so it kind of looks like it's patchwork stitching. And I can't stop looking at this jacket. It's quite frankly one of the coolest jackets I've ever purchased in my life. Much like all of their Sahasika shirts, you have kind of like this kimono collar and then 2 waist pockets. And this reminds me a lot of the Visvim Lambo shirts, kind of like the same silhouette and style. It also features this really interesting striped linen fabric on the inside, and you can actually wear it reversible. The brand tag will show on the reversible side, but it can still work. As you can see, it's made in India as well. So yeah, pretty obvious why this would work with other Visvim stuff. They've made stuff very similar before with custom embroidery and stitching, and along with kind of like the Japanese silhouette. And yeah, and I'll show it on in an outfit after this.
Here I paired the jacket with some white leather Foley Folk sneakers, Social Sculpture 01 Damage 14 denim, and a natural dyed indigo jumbo tee.
So that's it for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment down below what your favorite item from the video was. Also, if you have any other brands that you'd like to recommend to me, please let me know. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out. Don't forget to follow my Instagram and Grilled so you keep up to date with all my postings and listings and whatnot. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.